Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of Rick and Morty Season 5, Episode 6, Rick and Morty's Thanksploitation Spectacular. An episode that'll make you feel proud, kinda, to be an American by learning about the truth of Thanksgiving, aka National Treasure conspiracy theories, turkey dinosaurs, Alien vs. Predator, and I guess a bit of South Park. At least that's how I learned it in Florida, where our textbooks were menus from Jimmy Buffett Margaritavilles. I'm gonna break down all the Easter eggs, animation details, horrible dark secrets that you might have missed. So Rick plans to steal the Constitution for the hidden treasure map on the back, like in the movie National Treasure when Nicolas Cage steals the Declaration of Independence for its treasure map. Actually, in the even worse National Treasure 2, Nicolas Cage and the President go to the Library of Congress to find the Book of Secrets containing details about various conspiracies, including the JFK assassination and Area 51, which we know this president, Rick and Morty, also has plenty of knowledge of. The library railings are decorated with the heads of the eagles, America's national bird, but actually chosen after founding father Benjamin Franklin recommended it to be the turkey, which this episode revises to be our true ancestral avian overlord. Rick's RC car knocks over a bust of Thomas Jefferson, and nearby is a dueling pistol, perhaps the one Aaron Burr used to kill Alexander Hamilton. Should make a musical out of that. The car shoots these gelatinous webs over the security cameras, but not the ones by the vault door. Interesting, maybe Rick didn't care at that point. Or maybe it used all of its fluid to spray the crotches of these Revolutionary Army soldiers to make them look like they wet themselves. Not very respectful. Now, the vault door is marked with "In God We Trust," and at its center appears to just be a large US penny. Flanking it are busts of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, and John Trimble's famous 1818 painting, The Declaration of Independence, though in real life this painting is much larger, 12 feet by 18 feet. Now, the documents in the case include the Constitution's opening page. You can see its preamble opening with "We the People," and then in Congress are the opening words to the Declaration of Independence, which is a founding document but not part of the Constitution. Declaration of Independence signed 1776, Constitution drafted well after the Revolution, but the Bill of Rights is to the right of that. Of course, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution included so that states' rights advocates like James Madison would ratify it. But when Morty burns a hole through these documents, the first page of the Constitution actually is untouched, despite this whole conflict being over Morty destroying the Constitution in particular. This laser blasts through the head of the Lincoln Memorial, the same way Abraham Lincoln was shot in the back of the head by John Wilkes Booth. It destroys the Liberty Bell, which is framed exactly how it's on display outside Constitution Hall in Philadelphia, and then it destroys the Statue of Liberty, revealing underneath the Trojan horse French assassin robot. They later call her steam-powered, and here you can see she's got a glowing furnace inside. So the military sieges the Smith house.
You are under arrest and surrounded by an anti-portal shimmer.
Yes, the Shimmer, the name given to the similar-looking distortion field in the movie Annihilation. Jerry whines about the damage being done to his prostate, and the Area X in Annihilation emitted some radiation that I would say was cancerous in nature. I actually think that whole movie is a metaphor for cancer, but when I talk to friends about it, they're like, what the hell are you talking about? So I might have been alone in that. Hey, so we all have some friends we'd like to blow up with a plasma cannon every once in a while, right? Well, Mech Arena is a tactical team-based 5 vs 5 shooter game that lets you do just that. Jump in, blow up mechs with your friends, and be out in 5 minutes. It's got tons of awesome mechs and a variety of weapons to unlock and upgrade. I like how you can upgrade your mechs and their weapons. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna upgrade my autocannon. He's simple and effective. Build a mech to fit your playstyle with unlimited weapon combinations and custom skins. My playstyle right now is don't get blown up immediately, but I'm getting better. There are loads of game modes like 5 vs 5 deathmatch and solo quick matches. Mech Arena is super active with regular special events, in-game competitions, and tournaments, with new mechs, weapons, and game modes being released every month. Mech Arena is gearing up for its official worldwide release in August, but if you're in the US, Canada, and the UK, or another lucky country, you can get started right now. It's completely free to play on Android and iOS. Use my link in the description or scan my QR code and get 1 mil-spec skin, 500 A coins, 70,000 credits, and get a head start before everyone else. This is gonna be massive. Do not miss out. Rick and the President argue.
You terrorist?
You know, you use that word so much it's lost all meaning, Mr. P. It's like, at this point, what's a terrorist? It's a guy you don't like. Big deal.
You know, Rick actually sidestepped a 9/11 last season, whereas in the season 3 finale, the two of them rolled past a set in the White House basement, suggesting some 9/11 conspiracy plot that the White House was involved with, which might be why Rick now says,
Might be time to look at the terrorist in the mirror.
And contrastingly, the Turkey president later struggles to recall the word terrorist.
Guards, these men are, what is the word? Terrorists.
Now, one of Rick's defenses is a carnivorous plant like Audrey 2 in Little Shop of Horrors, and the president nods to some Superman mythos details.
You want a war? I'll put your outer space ass in a goddamn phantom zone with a bar of kryptonite soap around your neck.
So Rick plans to trick the president into giving him a pardon using the loophole of disguising himself as a pardon turkey. This is the goofy Thanksgiving tradition with a long history of turkeys being presented to the White House since 1873, but later in this episode you'll notice the sign in the pen says 1947, referencing how President Harry Truman in 1947 tried to encourage food rationing of poultry-less Thursdays and found himself getting bombarded by poultry producers who presented him turkeys. But Truman never officially pardoned any of them. John F. Kennedy gave an unofficial turkey pardon in 1963, but the annual tradition of turkey pardons began in the 80s when Ronald Reagan joked that, oh, he would pardon a turkey just to deflect questions over whether he was gonna pardon Ollie North for illegally selling guns to Iranians to fund right-wing militias in Nicaragua. And Reagan's successor, George H.W. Bush, began the annual pardoning tradition, which we do to this day, and that same president pardoned those Iran-Contra rascals in his final days in office. Oh, America. Rick and the president brag about how they've each outsmarted the other, but let us not overlook that the president's first move was to euthanize the poor turkey handler. He snaps at his VP.
Careful, Dwayne. You're only vice president because I need 10% of the white vote.
A nod to how presidential candidates will balance their ticket with running mates to win over different groups of voters, kind of like Obama with Biden in 2008. That 10% he's referring to is probably roughly the 10% of voters who actually could swing either way nowadays, how things are so polarized. So the Marine gets the call.
Coop, not on Thanksgiving.
Not on Thanksgiving. They're in a bar. And she's pregnant, though she is drinking water. No judgment, I'm just saying it's a bummer place to take her on Thanksgiving, especially as Rick later points out.
Bars actually suck at Thanksgiving.
And yes, his name is Coop. Maybe a nod to Bradley Cooper as Chris Kyle in American Sniper, but a more prominent reference point, Jeremy Renner's character in The Hurt Locker. He wears similar sunglasses, similar haircut. Coop is voiced by Timothy Oliphant, and he asks his wife,
Baby, that little race car driver you got baking in your belly, what world you want him rearing up in? One where some spiky-haired Doctor Who in a lab coat can change the color of the sky?
Doctor Who, another callback to Rick's words in that season 3 finale.
Doctor Who in this mother. I could be a clone. I could be a hologram. We could be clones controlled by robots controlled with special headsets that the real Rick and Morty are wearing while they're your mother.
Actually, decoys, robots being controlled remotely is exactly how Rick tries to fool the president and his forces in this episode. Then onto this great country song.
Got a pregnant girl in a pickup truck, got one by choice and the other by luck. Now it's time to turn into a turkey.
Yeah, classic country music themes, pickup trucks, accidental pregnancies. Shut up, it's country. And then as the Marines transform, it's disgusting and painful. Their eyes pop out, their skulls cave in, their mouths turn inside out to form beaks. A horribly painful sacrifice that they have to go through. Then they transport to Henderson's turkey farm, the turkey farm where turkeys who might get pardoned by the president live. And then later the truck reads, Tommy's Turkey Transport, proudly transporting turkeys who might get pardoned by the president. On top of this truck, I love their fight choreography. They jab their heads at each other, and when Rick punches one, it releases a gobble. Even though they hear each other with human English speak, in the heat of the moment, they start to transform into their animalistic form. Meanwhile, the military traps the robot decoys in a David Blaine box, referencing escape artist David Blaine's stunt when he spent 44 days in a glass box in London. Now inside, there's this weird animation glitch with Beth's hand. Looks like the animators might have used an asset file of Beth's hand at that angle to match what it would look like on her hip, but they didn't blend in the edge at the wrist. The president transforms himself into a turkey in order to find Rick and Morty.
Shit, the president has the upper hand. Grandpa f***ed up. Sunglasses on. Act like a turkey.
Now Morty and Rick are posing as the Marines named Rodriguez and Fincher, maybe for Robert Rodriguez and David Fincher, because there is a line here similar to that line in David Fincher's 7.
John Doe has the upper hand.
And then later another Fincher film gets referenced.
I hate every country in the universe, brother. They're job placement programs for the politicians that invent them.
Okay, Fight Club.
The president snaps at Coop.
It's Rick and Morty, you useless stump humper. Sorry, don't tell 10% of your friends I called you that.
Stump humper, of course, slang for people who cows. In Florida, we elect them to office. When the president attacks him, Rick worries about his plume.
Get my plume!
Just a funny way of showing again how they're starting to feel more turkey than human when they're in for too long. Meanwhile, another soldier freaks out.
270 degrees! It's too many degrees!
Yeah, turkeys actually do have 270-degree vision. And to show this, they switch to a wider aspect ratio and a bird's eye lens distortion that stretches out objects on different parts of the frame. So Rick knocks the president's ID chip into another another turkey who gets swapped with him to receive the president's DNA backup. When they transform back, the flashing white light silhouetting them evokes the imagery from The Fly, when Jeff Goldblum reappeared as a genetic splice of two species. The others are dropped into a feeding dungeon where they find
The only thing to fear is me.
Why the f does the White House have a clone spider of FDR?
It's no clone, it's FDR. He was a guinea pig for the polio vaccine. We ask ourselves, what walks the most?
We? You're taking credit for this?
The office comes with baggage, Morty.
Yes, Franklin D. Roosevelt suffered from polio in real life, something he hid from the American public. He died in 1945, which led to Harry Truman becoming president, which in this show's 1947 turkey pardon history might have been all about keeping this spider FDR fed. Now, this is yet another bit of dark baggage that we saw in the season 3 finale that also included the Truman cocaine lounge, the Kennedy sex tunnels, the McKinley hooker dump, the mention of a Lincoln slave coliseum, and then that warehouse containing Kennedy's car, the 9/11 set, the moon landing set, a set of Washington crossing the Delaware, and then a floorboard gag, a satanic seance. But FDR being a carnivorous spider could also be Justin Roiland making another shout out to Gravity Falls colleague Alex Hirsch and the secret history of 8½th president and true Gravity Falls founder Quentin Trimbley.
The only thing we have to fear is gigantic man-eating spiders!
Now notice how Rick actually worked into their turkey transformation an automatic reversion timer, which if you think about it was him learning from Pickle Rick to always set an expiration so that you don't get stuck in this wrong form. So they confront the turkey president in Congress. Notice how one of the representatives with the short hair, the pearl necklace, she actually worked with Morty when he was a stockbroker in season 3's Rest and Ricklaxation, which could just be a little way of showing how this Congress has been bought out by Wall Street and is financially corrupt enough to enact horrible policy just by giving pay raises. Rick says,
Go Sanchez laser fists! Oh shit, I was a turkey for a while, wasn't I?
yeah, not the first time Rick has used this Inspector Gadget voice command.
Go Sanchez ski shoes!
Meanwhile, the president has his own voice command, nicknaming his motorcycle Mary Todd Lincoln. Jerry watches a Charlie Kaufman reboot of The Wizard of Oz.
That's why I need a brain! I'm doing a terrible job writing this.
Referring to Charlie Kaufman movies like Adaptation, being John Malkovich, Synecdoche, New York, all self-deconstructing meta concepts centered around filmmakers and artists staging the movies around themselves. Meanwhile, the news reports,
as you can see, President Curtis has enacted a plan to turn all turkeys in America into hybrid super soldiers.
I believe this is the first time the president has been named on the show. He's President Curtis. He meets a hostile bartender who's still pissed that Jimmy Carter left an unpaid tab of $53.
And that guy on TV isn't me. He's a turkey infused with my DNA.
I'll be damned. Well, I'm racist.
Yes, the face blindness is real. For this guy too, but in this case, with race. But if you think about it, all the politicians in Washington have this same problem, but whereas they refuse to admit it, this bartender, for better or worse, at least recognizes that he's racist. But the president wins them over with a speech.
Speeches are words, repeated words, listed words, repeated lists of repeated words. None of that matters. You know what does matter? Me asking you, will you do what I say?
Now, actually, Keith David first worked with Dan Harmon on Community, and the president's speech here is a lot like one of Jeff Winger's many superficial speeches that he delivered in pretty much every episode, and then was parodied in the season 2 clip episode.
We've known each other for almost 2 years now. And yeah, in that time, I've given a lot of speeches, but they all have one thing in common. They're all different.
So they confront the turkey forces.
Sir, we've got Rick and Morty coming in what appears to be an unlicensed Star Wars AT-AT, or as the millennials say, AT-AT.
So it begins.
Yes, this debate comes up a lot on this channel. Just know that Dave Filoni has intentionally used both pronunciations along with terms like Walker on his shows as a way of saying, however any fan describes it, they're all right. This turkey commando horribly murders one soldier by popping his eyeballs out like blueberries as they approach a Lincoln Memorial. Of course, its head's still blown off from Morty's accident earlier. They reach the crypt of the New World, and it's accessed through this gate covered in Masonic imagery, including the Masonic square and compass symbol and the Eye of Providence. And he says,
the treasure you are after is this country's oldest secret, one disguised by centuries of Thanksgiving folklore.
Yeah, this might be why Rick thought he could try to trick the president in the Sperm Monster episode with that whole spiel about monsters being rooted in ancient folklore. But the president explains how America used to be dominated by turkeys.
Is that a turkey dinosaur?
America's original rulers, merciless beasts grazing on the flesh of cowering humans. Then in the 15th century, a vessel crashed, 2 vessels really. On board, our saviors.
Now remember last episode, Rick said that he had just watched Jurassic Park on cable, and in that movie, there's that scene where Alan Grant explains the evolutionary link between dinosaurs and birds, just to have that random kid quip.
That doesn't look very scary. More like a 6-foot turkey.
But these ancient alien saviors appear to be based on the alien versus predator mythology. The xenomorph versus the yautja. The pilgrims' mouths actually look like the fangs of the predator. And the later movies in both of these franchises implied links between early humans and these advanced races, like Prometheus suggested humans were actually created by these engineers who also went on to biologically engineer what became the xenomorphs. And the movie Alien vs. Predator suggested that the yautja influenced ancient Mesoamerican cultures. Later, the turkey president blows himself up with his wishbone, similar to the predator's self-destruct function, and one of the alien pilgrims tosses the president an old musket, saying that he got it from a predator, like how in Predator 2 the guy gets tossed a gun from 1715. But here they awaken both races of aliens from cryopods and send them into battle.
Gentlemen, Baruka Dartinin Yote.
Yeah, the language he's speaking here is actually Dothraki from Game of Thrones. And then these aliens trap the turkeys in corn stalks. And together they feast on their flesh, just giving a whole new horrible meaning to all Thanksgiving traditions. The turkey president says turkeys sleep in trees and they fly, which is actually true. Turkeys can fly upwards of 50 feet in the air and they roost in tree branches. Rick tells Morty to cut the blue wire to disable the Washington Monument.
They're not exactly primary colors. Are we cool with like turquoise?
And Morty ends up burning the whole thing, as well as the US flag that's on the moon, suggesting that despite the moon landing set in the White House basement, America did eventually get to the moon. I theorized that Rick might have helped them, just one of many things that he has over the president. The turkey president blows himself up, and the president hears his life echoing past him.
The Berlin Wall has come down.
It's called the PlayStation. The winner is Shakespeare in Love.
PlayStation 2.
Hurricane Katrina slams Louisiana.
PlayStation 3. This is Maroon 5. PlayStation 4.
I want a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, his life moments are just limited to the Berlin Wall falling in 89, Shakespeare in Love winning the Oscar in 99, Hurricane Katrina, Maroon 5, Cubbies winning the World Series, and every generation of PlayStation. What a life it was. The aliens tell the president,
I don't speak Guga.
Yeah, the president previously used the word Guga to describe the alien infestation in the season 3 finale.
Some kind of alien Guga has infested the Kennedy sex tunnels.
And despite the president undercutting Summer's woke take with a crazier historical truth, Morty's takeaway from all this on the falseness of American exceptionalism remains the same.
I always thought we were more special than that. Like we invented everything and did everything, and that's why we own everything. Now I don't know what to feel.
Feel thankful, Morty. Feel thankful.
Leading to this post-credit scene back with Coop, now with his wife and baby shopping for groceries, like the scene towards the end of the Hurt Locker, where the guy was completely overwhelmed by which cereal to get, unable to relate with normal life, and decided ultimately to leave his family behind again. Notice how that blueberry rolls into the foreground, just like that juicy eyeball snack to that turkey commando. And Coop, like the turkey life that he can't shake, finds himself trapped in a different kind of coop, of the poultry variety, you know, like the houses they live in. And all while judged by people who just refuse to pay for his health insurance. Heartbreakingly unappreciated. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey, you can support New Rockstars by checking out our merch options, including our Loki and Black Widow designs at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow and subscribe to New Rockstars. Thanks for watching. Bye.